Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my YouTube page. This is Lenin, Assistant Professor of English, PG and Research Department, St. Joseph College of Arts and Science, Kadalur. This video is done for 2nd MA English for the paper called Subaltern Literature. Unit 1, the title of the poem is The Post That Fitted by a famous author Rudyard Kipling. So we see the images of Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling was an English journalist, short story writer, poet and a novelist. So a multifaceted personality. He was born in India, which inspired much of his work. He is so close to a soil, so close to a nation. That's the reason why he wrote many of his works based on Indian soil. Kipling's works of fiction include The Jungle Book, a famous book, Kim, and again a famous work, and many short stories including The Man Who Would Be King. His poems include Mandalay, Gangadin, The Gods of the Copybook Headings, The White Man's Burden, and a famous philosophical poem, F. He is regarded as a major innovator in the art of short story writing. His children books are classics of children literature. He is a writer who is known for the children writings. Kipling was one of the most popular writers in the United Kingdom in both prose and verse in the late 19th and earlier 20th centuries. In 1907, at the age of 41, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature, making him the first English language writer to receive the prize, and also he is the youngest to receive such a kind of a glorious award. He was also sounded out for the British Poet Laureateship on several occasions for a knighthood, both of which he declined. So it is very obvious from this point that he was not a person who ran after titles. Kipling's subsequent reputation has changed according to the political and social climate of the age, and resulting contrasting views about him continued for much of the 20th century. So this is the poem, The Post That Fitted. So let's move to the summary of the poem. Sleary, an impecunious young officer, is keen to marry, but he cannot do so because he remains in the army. The theme is how an army man denies a wish of a lady who wanted to marry him. He cynically proposes marriage to a daughter of a judge who uses his influence to get Sleary a well-played administrative office on the Bombay side. In the beginning, in the introductory part, we saw how Rudyard Kipling used the background of Indian history, Indian lands, Indian states in his works. That's the reason why again he mentioned Bombay side. Then to escape, Sleary pretends to have epilepsy and the judge's daughter tearfully rejects him, only to see him wed the lady that he had long loved. So somehow or the other, Sleary from the very beginning wanted to ignore the love. The story is told is very similar to that used by W.S. Gilbert in the Judge's song in Trial by Jury. Actually, Rudyard Kipling modeled the poem upon this work, W.S. Gilbert's Trial by Jury. The story would have been well known by all the amateur dramatic societies in British India. It seems very likely that rather than referring to a real place, Kipling was simply transporting Gilbert's theme to British India, adding his own twist at the end. So this is what made Kipling as a evergreen writer, a famous writer. He just wanted to transpose the idea of British to Indian theme. As for the unprincipled Sleary, leaving aside his pay, under no circumstances would a subaltern have been allowed to marry. Here, a subaltern means a person who is inferior in rank in army. Subaltern refers to the person, a personality, a soldier in the army. So, he is not a higher official. It denotes that he does not have more salary. Any officer in the army, either British or Indian, had to seek his colonel's permission before marrying. If you are a soldier in UK or else in India, you need to get the permission of your higher official if you want to marry. So that is the order of the. No one could stop a young couple from getting engaged, but marriage would have been out of the question. You can do whatever you like, you can engage, you can love, but if it is in the matter of marriage, you should get the permission of your senior. If you are a subaltern, subaltern means a soldier in army. There was an implied rule: subalterns cannot marry, captains may marry, majors should marry, and colonels must marry. It's a popular saying. It's a popular saying. Just see how the inferior ranked people are ignored, marginalized. They do not have the privilege of marrying someone whom they like. Now, the analysis of the poem. As far as the title is concerned, Rudyard Kipling aptly made the title so as to do justice to the poetry. The post that fitted, the job that suited him. There is also a pun on the word fitted. What sort of pun? Since he escaped his unwanted marriage by pretended epileptic fits. Epileptic fits. There is a pun on the word fitted. How Sleary tactically escaped from marrying the daughter of a judge. Nobody today would come forward to deny the offer of marrying a judge daughter, but Sleary ignored. Why so? In lines 1 and 3, tangle refers the repetition of the word in the heading prepares for the complex plot Sleary completes to entrap Minnie Bofkin and her father. So Sleary is the protagonist of the poem. So Minnie Bofkin, the lover of Sleary. 1178. Sleary's pay was very modest. As a soldier, as a subaltern, he drew very modest pay. Sleary was other way, 8 rupees a day, Indian value 8 rupees a day. Sleary's pay was just 240 rupees a month. A subaltern's pay at that time was actually around 180 rupees per month. It is not now. Think of the days before Indian independence. After a year at CMG, aged 18, Kipling was earning 375 rupees a month. The cost of 6 servants for an average household was somehow 500 rupees a month. So all the poem centers on how economy played a major role in fixing one's fate. Though he loved her, Minnie Bofkin, though Sleary loved Minnie Bofkin, he did not have the guts to marry her only because of his poor economic financial condition. Line 11. Subaltern, an officer below the rank of a captain. Subaltern, who is officer below the rank of a captain, so he cannot exercise his own free will. As such, Sleary would have had to live a bachelor life in the mess. His main expenses would have been mess subscriptions, food, bar bills, uniforms, and his horse or horses maybe. Certainly no two-plate dinners. So a compact life, a budget life, mess, uniform, bar bills, and expenses on horses. But he evidently had other ideas based on having his own. From the very beginning, was wondering. Line 14. Got him made a something something somewhere on the Bombay side. What does it mean? British India at this time was still divided into three administrative areas, namely very popular presidencies, Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. These were the three major popular presidencies in India before Indian independence. As indicated above, his regiment, Sleary's regiment, would not have countenanced Sleary's marriage, nor to a possibly greater extent would have been married if he had served to transfer to the Indian civil service. So Judge Bofkin probably pulled strings to get him transferred to a political appointment in the Bombay presidency. So his would-be father-in-law wanted Sleary to be appointed in a place where he could be sophisticated, where he can contact Minnie Bofkin, or perhaps in one of the princely states immediately adjacent to the. So line 15, billet means a post. Line 16, artless, innocent but used here ironically. He was far from artless. Line 25, chasten, holy joy. Both adjectives are sarcastically punning on Slayery's misconduct. He is not merely sacrificial victim, but rather her manipulator, though she does not realize it. Line 26, employ, archaic word of occupation. So, a post that fitted, the post that fitted Sleary. He wanted to ignore Minnie Boffin's wish of marrying her. Why so? He did not have enough money to run a family because he was inferior in rank in army. He could not get the permission of his superior. Somehow or the other, even though the judge Bofkin made arrangements to favorite him, he did not accept the wish of marrying the daughter of a judge. Quite an interesting story. Also, it exhibited the pathetic picture of the army people, the soldiers, by Rudyard Kipling. Thank you for watching. Meet you all soon in another video. Thank you.